And hello, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight? I'll give everyone a few minutes to come into the room. A few minutes to come into the room. As you come in, please like, and if you have liked the video, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the video. Tonight, we're going to, I want to keep it on because people can, I don't mind people's opinions because that's what this is about. But I don't like going into real dark places. So tonight, on tonight's show, I decided to talk about pre the record paper route empire, and I want to talk about the future of pre. And I would like to get you all's opinions because I kind of watch them too, because those are young men who I feel like was out in the street, and Dolph was their leader, and they are very talented. Okay, and so I want to talk about the future of Pre and what you all think, as far as the record label, and do you think that they're going to be able to um, continue? Do you think that they will keep a united front and continue and go on and do great things and um, continue Dolph's legacy? So, as I said, for those of you who are just coming into the room, please like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to to my channel if you have not. And everyone who is here, um, I really appreciate you. You know, if you have continuously, because I've been coming on quite frequently now, I really appreciate you rocking with me because we tend to go all night, sometimes. But I want to talk about Pre and the artists on Pre, and I want to talk about them continuing Dolph's legacy. I'm going to drop the link because I would love to hear, like I said, what you all have to say about um, what you all think about the young men, and do you all think what you all think about the future of Paper Route Empire and the artists that are on there? As I said, here in Memphis, we truly, I know, because like I said, I'm not a real big rap artist. I mean, I'm not really because I'm older. I'm in my 40s, which don't mean anything. But Dolph was a humanitarian, and so to see a young man at his age, the way he worked and to have a vision and to get it out of the mud like he did, I really want to see. Um, I really would like to see them to continue his legacy. He has some, like I said, he has some great artists. He has some really good artists. He was putting together, or had put together, a really good roster. So I would like to know what you all think. As far as the artists, do you all think that they will be able to continue this thing? Like I said, I dropped the link. Whoever wants to come up can definitely come up and speak about what they think as far as the label. I know a lot of people wanted to know who would get the label, but from my understanding, Dolph had a business partner. I guess that would have been Daddy O. And so they kept it 50-50. So if it was 50-50, well, I'll say, I'm assuming if they were business partners and they were co-owners, then Daddy O still has his part. And I'm sure Dolph's part would go to his children. Um, his part would go to his children, so his children will become heirs to his part. Unless I don't know, unless there was something in the will, and somebody else ends up buying out his part or something like that. I don't know, but it appears to me that the young men are continuing on, and I have to take my hats off to them because they just lost their leader. You know, When I see young men who are out in the street, and I see another young man who was out in the street, made himself into a self-made millionaire, and he's reaching back, getting these young men, helping them to realize a vision. When these young boys are out in the street, they're out in the street because oftentimes they don't know any other way to make money. But then you show them the American dream with a talent at rap, with that talent being rap, and start changing their lives, and they're able to see something better, and see a vision of changing their families' lives. So it says Key Glock gonna take Pre to a whole different level, believe it or not, and a lot of people don't like to hear that. I'm gonna put that up there. Key Glock is very talented. I like his style. You think about it. A lot of the young men on that label, they are very talented. And listen, everybody is unique. Everybody is unique and different on that label. And that's what makes it so awesome. Like, they have a unique style. You can tell when you listen to them, you know who it is. But if Key Glock is getting ready to take Pre to another level, that's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? If he was, because I'm assuming he was probably the one that was around Dolph the most. That's what it appears. And so, if he was teaching him the business, hey love, if he was teaching him the business, then it's a beautiful thing. If he could take it to another level, because they also have other talent on there, other people that are talented on Pre. Because like I said, he's got Big Mucho, he's got Snoop Bands, he's got a young man named Paper Paper Route Rue, or Woo or something, Paper Route Fizzle. Like, all of these young men are very, talented. And so I guess, like I said, that's why I wanted to, like I said, everybody has their opinion. You can get on here and speak your opinion. But I wanted to speak about, because even though we talk a lot about Dolph's situation as far as his unsolved murder case at this time. Now, two people, like I said, have been charged, and one, they're looking for Shondale, and we're waiting to see what's going to happen in the future, right? Because like I said, a lot of people was asking me, well, I was trying to get this out last night. Some people were saying that as far as Dolph's wife or his fiance, they thought that she had hired some private investigators. And what I was trying to say was, when a case like Dolph's is this hot and it's being actively worked, hey love, hey snoozy cake, it's being actively worked. You don't see, there's no need for a private investigator. Private investigators, when a case is this hot and it's got two different agencies on it, because it's really hot. Like I said, you might get burned if you touch this case because it's sizzling hot. And so that's the beautiful thing about it, is that they are actively working it. And with the public, I think with the public, as far as Dolph's case is concerned, I know people love Dolph and they're curious and they want to know, but I believe that they're packaging this thing together. Now, there was a hiccup maybe with Shondale Barnett, maybe, because like I said, I got my opinions about that. But there wouldn't be a need as far as trying to find out, and no private investigator would touch this case at this point, because Dolph has, as far as his situation, I think Dolph's case is in a really, really good status. I think it's in a good status. God is, I could say that God is all over that case. And that's why I keep saying Dolph's spirit is still up here walking around. I promise you. And I think when all of this is over, he's going to be able to ascend and and finally get his peace and get his rest. But I think he's going to be very proud when all of this is over, because he's got some bad to the bone folks working his case. I'm going to tell you that right now. And when this is over, he's going to be able to ascend and be proud and be at peace. And that's why I wanted to talk about pre tonight and the future of pre, because there is a future for pre, right? My hope is the young men can stick together, because see, I know with young men, when you have young men like that, because I guess they're all around the age of like 23 or 24, and you can like say for instance like Key Glock was his cousin. He was the one that was closest to Dolph, and he's kind of like the stick out person, right? And that's because he was up under Dolph, but Dolph had started signing other artists also that was extremely talented. Like I said, Dolph has an artist that he had signed named Big Mucho, Big Mookie, or yeah, Big Mucho, and or it was Big Big Moochie, and Big Moochie kind of, because I have an alpha talent. Big Moochie kind of, at the way he ride, he knows how to ride a beat. He kind of puts you in the mind. His voice is different, but his style is kind of like the same. He kind of puts you in the mind of a Notorious B.I.G. And with the right grooming, he could definitely be a major star. He has an artist named Snoop Bands that is extremely talent, very unique as far as his style. So that's why I was saying, if they could stick together, because with those young men being so young, I know right now Dolph was the person who was their leader. And come on here, girl. My puppy is showing out. It was their leader, and they may still be in shock, because I'm sure they're still in shock, right? And they're starting to recuperate. And I know a lot of times with young men that they I don't know if they understand how, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if they understand at this point how what's the word I'm looking for? You know how words be on the tip of your tongue. Um how much they're worth. I'll say that. I don't know if they know their worth right now. I don't know if they know how much they are worth, because at this point, if they all stick together, they could, and people start identifying, them, and they're all together and stuff, and they work together, people are going to associate that with Dolph and Pre and keeping Dolph's legacy going. And they could make so much freaking money in just a year, if they all stick together and do dates and stuff together. People are going to come out in droves, not just one, but all of them together. People will come out in droves, but I guess the thing that I fear, because they are young men, and I know how people like to divide and conquer, is that somebody, and I'm not talking about daddy or anything like that. I'm just saying, because I'm sure artists have different managers, that somebody tries, people try to separate them. You don't need them. They ride your coattail and this, and that. And when with that situation, if they all stick together, they would break the bank in every city. And I don't know if they realize that. And I hope they have those type, because Dolph realized it. Dolph did. I hope they have those type of people around them that's telling them that and helping them to realize that. I do. I hope they, to keep his legacy going, to keep his label alive. We haven't, or I haven't heard anything what's going to happen with his label as far as his family, because like I said, his children would be his sole heirs, but his children are still babies. So that means that even if they're the sole heirs, I don't know if he had it in his will where his fiance would be the executor, because she's their mother over whatever it is that they inherited from him. Okay. So yeah. So I would drop the link. You all want to come up and say something, you could definitely do that. I truly believe he was putting together a masterpiece. He had already had it, but it was just starting to form. He was already, it seems to me, he was already eating off the fruits of his labor. he was already eating off the fruits of his labor as far as his dream and his vision, because he was a millionaire. He was making money off of it, and he was signing his artists and stuff. And like I said, he had started to um he had started to going back to that, I truly think because he was independent, that was one of the reasons too. Being independent, being his own boss, that may have been one of the reasons he was taken down, because he was getting ready to do something big. You're talking about the a music industry that makes a lot of money. You can make a lot of money if you, like Dolph said, if you know the recipe, right? So he knew the recipe, and he was able to benefit from that. And like I said, he was signing other artists. It was starting to form. Everything was starting to form. For those of you all that are just coming in, the subject is um, the future of pre. What do you all think? Do you think that those young men will be able to? Do you think, just as a whole, that the label will continue on, that the legacy will be carried on? What do you think? Do you think when he passed away that kind of died with him, or do you think these young men will be guided in the right direction, or be moved in the right direction, so that they can help to carry on Dolph's legacy? For, like I said, for those of you all who are just coming into here, please like and subscribe. Hey, Kaden, can you go get my other phone for me? It's in the chair up there. Hi. Thank you, boo. I think Pre needs an image consultant at this point. Miss Felicia, why do you think they need an image consultant? I just want to know your opinion. Why do you think they need an image consultant? I kind of changed my topic at the last minute, because tonight when I got on, I had another topic. I don't see it. It's in the chair. It's in the chair. Okay. I had another topic, but I think I'm going to talk about that topic tomorrow. But tonight, I wanted to talk about the future of Pre. And do you all think that these young men would be able to carry on Dolph's legacy? That's what I wanted to talk about. Because like I said, I truly believe that he was one of the reasons that he was gunned down, was because people, just like we saw his vision forming, like we see it now. Even those that didn't know him, they see it now. They go, dog, this young man had put together a masterpiece. All because of his vision. He had put together a masterpiece. And I think because he had worked so hard and he was proud of it, I would love to see these young men carry on his legacy. I don't know. I think right now, because Dolph was gunned down back in November of 2021, right? So that was just only a few months ago. So you have to think about a lot of them, that especially the ones that it's not in the trap. Okay. A lot of them that was really, really close to him, that truly loved him, a lot of them are still in shock. You know what I mean? Especially a whole lot of them, especially his fiance. You know what I mean? And I, like I said, I don't know what kind of wheels he had, because I just don't know what kind of access. I'm sure he left her good too, because she's the mother of his children. To do a branding with another perspective, like doing artist search instead of the false that. Okay. Yeah, but you know what though, Felicia, he's got good artists, and I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, and that would bring more attention to the label again. That would like refresh it and put the label, but the label's name is still out there. It's still hot. But I know what you're saying. But he's got really hot artists on his label right now. And I have to say, I think even in the wake of what has happened to him, they seem to be trying to push. I don't know if they have the backing at this point, because even though, so you think about Dolph had a business partner, right? Yeah, you think about Dolph had a business partner. Okay, Daddy O was his business partner. A lot of people say that he funded him, and I can believe that. So even when you have a business partner, and he may have had the funds to fund him in the beginning, Dolph was the visionary. That's how business is. You have the money person and you have the visionary. Do you think that Daddy O has the vision that Dolph had to be able to take Pre? Because that he definitely has the talent is already there. You know, um, the talent is definitely already there. But to refresh it, yeah. But I think, if I see a lot of them, they share a lot of, they're constantly sharing, like, these young men are still hurting too. Like, it's a shock. Like, you talk to somebody that same day and you all are planning to do something, especially something that's going to further your career. All of your dreams are realized, and then that's snatched away. He was snatched away from his family, but he was also snatched away from his artists. Like, he was a mentor to these young men. And because he was a visionary, he also was the person that was going to that helped these young men to realize not only their talent, because they was already talented. I'm sure they was already doing things, but that was helping them as far as the recipe. You know what I mean? Teaching them the independent thing. But I guess my concern is, because I haven't seen them, put together. I see, Key Glock has some concerts, but he's some dates, and he sold out, and that's a good thing. But I wonder if they're going to put something together as a whole, because Dolph didn't have just one artist. He had all of these young men on his label. Do they have somebody strong enough, because they're young? And with them being young, I know, because I got kids the exact same age as they are. You know, do they have somebody that knows how to mediate? Right. It would be good for Pre to connect with the community in a new way, because Doc was a humanitarian. He was a humanitarian. That's why all of those those old grandmamas over there in Castelia, they loved him, because they felt like he looked out for them. You see what I mean? He was given to nonprofit organizations. He knew, like he said, he had the recipe. There's a formula to it. When people think that you care, I promise you they'll ride with you until the wheels come off. So do these young men have that? Somebody that did he have the opportunity to truly instill that on the inside of them? And do he have anybody that that's there to help them to grow, to keep that formula going? Because they definitely have the talent. But I think if they're united, if they're united, they can put on a united front. Like I said, Key Glock is selling out dates, but can you imagine what would happen if all of them were together and people go? Because shoot, I'll probably go see them. Shoot, if all of them could, book something together, each and every one of Dolph's artists, book it as Dolph's dream or whatever. Everybody, everybody, they'd be selling out arenas if they had somebody that that was truly for them in the background, and that was dedicated to helping them put something like that together. Like I said, I'm so happy that Key Glock is doing his thing and selling out. But like I said, do they have somebody who's able to put get them all together? Because I don't know if he's gonna have, the young men as doing guest appearances on his show. But if all of Pre um did concerts together, I think if they realize, like I said, I hope that they don't have. I think this is what I was getting, because my mind be running a mile a minute. I know with young men, if they don't have the right representation or the right people around them, people will divide and conquer. Well, you don't need them. You do your own thing. It's hard to work with this one. You don't really need to work with that one. You can make all that money for yourself because you have people trying to divide and conquer, right? But is there somebody that's in the midst of that? I wish I could connect with them. I have great ideas. Yes, indeed. Is there somebody in the midst of that? They're saying, look, y'all, all of y'all were on pre, even though even if, because I know with young people, they have temper tantrums. Like I was saying the other day, I got somebody I got 20 and 23-year-olds. Oh, Lord have mercy. But you have somebody that knows how to mediate that, to help to put together what Doc was putting together, because they all bring something different to the table. They already have the talent. They need somebody with the vision like Dolph did, and with the business mind also, and the patience to help them to form that. I'm sure that's what they want. But if you look at some of their Instagrams, you could tell that they are still mourning him, because it's still really new. I'm sure they're still in shock. You know what I mean? He was just snatched away. He was just snatched away. You did it again. An all night. Yes, I did. I did an all night. Like I did not. Um when I looked at the clock this morning, I was like, oh my God, it is 5:30 in the morning. I could not believe that. Like we had been on all night, and like people were still, like people were still, it was a lot of people, so I really appreciate that. And like I was saying last night, I'll be talking about different things. This dogs thing, like I'll be talking about a lot of different stuff, because there are some things that I'm putting together. I was actually packaging it some other kind of way, but I want to take you all on a journey with me. And the reason I say that is, and I'm gonna get back into I want to take you all on my journey, because, like I said, I do a lot of private investigative work, because I'm a private investigator, and there are so many cases. Um, I've thought, well, people think I'm kind of weird because I'm very private and secretive, right? They go, "Oh, you're so weird because you're so secretive," but I was trained like that. You know what I mean? People, I'm just, there's just a certain way they train you when you work for departments and you go through certain trainings and stuff. But I would like to take you all on this journey, because I think when you talk about cases, it affects different people, because I've had people to reach out to me about certain cases, right, that have gone cold in different states and things of that nature. And that's just right now my alley, child. I was, I if there's ever anything to find, I promise you, I've always been able to find it. It is important that Pre remains loyal to Dolph's vision. I understand and respect the morning. However, I have not heard a PR person speaking on that. Is so true. We have not heard a PR person speaking on their behalf. And I that's why I said, with Daddy O, I'm sure he's business savvy. I'm sure he's smart, because most street dudes are smart. They have to be smart. So you're right. I agree with you on that. Um, as far as getting a PR person, getting good representation for them, you're absolutely right. I agree with you on that, Felicia. That would be good, because, like I said, if somebody they got the good representation and somebody put together, can you imagine somebody, especially with all of this going on? This right here is the perfect time, and there's no better time than now. They got somebody to help to put together a concert for Pre Living Dolph's Dream. Oh my God, I'm going. I'm telling my kids, wait a minute. Let me pull from behind my desk and throw some of these case notes over to the side. I'm going with y'all. I think that would be a beautiful thing. And there's no better time than now, because I know a lot of people are anticipating what's going to happen in this case. But y'all, and it's just really anticipation and curiosity, right? But I promise y'all, like I said, I was listening to somebody saying, another blogger saying that Mia J had hired her own private investigator. Maybe she hired it for something else. But I promise you, as far as Dolph's case, I don't. First of all, no private investigator would take a case that is actively being worked by the FBI and the local agency It's active and it's hotter than a firecracker. And those people are on their job. So she might have hired one, but I don't believe for that because I don't know of his situation is being handled. I just think the anticipation, and I have to say, I like to give comfort, letting people know the longer they work it, the better. Especially when it's actively being worked. It's not like it's cold and they don't have any leaves. Those people are doing their thing. They're on top of everything. So the longer they're working and they're not putting together any Mickey Mouse stuff or any microwave stuff, the better the outcome is. The better the outcome is going to be. We need to talk for real. Oh, that's cool. We could do that. All of us. Exactly. I pray the pre-revisits their security. Oh, yes, indeed. You know what? Puffy's security guard, he has a show. And he was saying that, when young Dolph had passed, when they took Dolph out, he did a RIP to Dolph. He says as a bodyguard, you know, he says, I can't understand why artists go and buy $500,000 worth of jewelry to put around their necks, but they won't pay 50 or 60 grand for a security guard a year. And that makes a lot of sense. You think about, you know, because even with Doc, you think about Doc's situation. Doc was in his neighborhood. He wasn't outside of his neighborhood. He was in a neighborhood that he had grown up in since he was 2 years old. So that was his neighborhood. Okay. Um, he was very comfortable. He didn't think, and so sometimes I think it just kind of lets me know also with Doc when people go, why was Doc moving like that? I think Doc was one of those ones that he did not, just from looking at it, he didn't take himself that seriously. To himself, he didn't look at himself as a big star, especially around the people who knew him as Man, I'm sure that's what they call him, Man. He didn't think anything of that, right? So I think that's why he was moving like that in that area. If he had gone to another part of the city, I think he would have had people with him. But because he was in that neighborhood, his very own neighborhood that he had grown up in, for 30 years, knew everything, around the area, I think he was just really comfortable. But yeah, they need to revisit security, get them some professional, because it's okay to have, you know, your little buddies or whatever around you. And here's another thing too. I think the young men need to do. It's good to have another set of eyes, and they definitely need professional security. But also, with them being from the street, I think it would be good for them to talk to some of the young men that they decide to have around them. Because a lot of times people will when you ascending, and I know I don't know how many years, if it hadn't already, it might take them to understand this. When God is moving you to another level, you can't have people that are still uh quick tempers and easy to be in beefs and going back and forth. When you're making money, you don't have time for stuff like that, because what happens is they'll get you tied up into something, and then you have to make sure that the people around you are sure of themselves, because what they'll do is, people have a, how am I trying to put it, some people, and I'm not saying that they have that around them, some people are so what they'll do is, and I've seen it so much with young people. If you have something going on and they want to secure a spot in your camp, what they'll do is they'll keep trouble going and go and start unnecessary trouble, and then go start fights and things of that nature, and then say, I took care of that. That's why you always need me around you. They're trying to secure a spot in your life, but they're keeping you tied up in a bunch of mess that you ain't even got to be in. So it's good. It will be good for them. That's what they really, I hope this Dolph thing open up their eyes to a lot of stuff, but they're still young. So that's why my prayer is God put the right people around them. You'll have people around you keeping you in beef, and then you'll mess around and they'll have you or your family into something that you didn't even have to be in, all because they want to make you think you need me, because they're trying to secure a spot. They start in something so that they can look like they fixed it. You see what I mean? So you're right about that. Okay, you guys, I'm dropping the link. That's the link. If anybody would like to come up, you can definitely come up. That is the link. If you have anything that you want to say, like I said, as far as the record label, and the artist, if you want to say something about Dolph, you know, um, I don't have any issues at all with people speaking their minds. Like the only thing that I would have a problem with is somebody coming up wanting to speak illy of another vlogger. I don't like to get into that. It's something about, with my energy, and as you all ride with me, you'll start to see more of that. Thank you, Boo. My little nephew over here with me tonight. As you all start to see, I don't like to be off of balance, because I feel like with me being the head of this channel, if I'm off of balance, it starts to trickle down, you know. And I don't want to ever talk about and when I say talk bad about, because I don't even mind somebody coming over here saying something about somebody's channel and how good their channel is, as long as they don't try to take over, you know. Yeah, I told y'all I was a private investigator, so trolling and stuff. Let me say this: we get on here and we talk and we act civilized, and this is therapeutic for me. Also, being on this channel, let me not be a private investigator with the trolls. Okay, let this be therapeutic for me, and we all enjoy each other and good commentary or whatever. When people want to come on here, they want to promote something, I don't have no issues with that. I just don't want people talking bad about other channels or other YouTube channels. I don't like that. Let's just let that be. you know but as I said, tonight we are talking about pre, and we're talking about the artists. Do you all think that they will be able to keep the vision alive? Like Miss Felicia said, they need good representation. If you all have something that you would like to say, you can definitely say that, because I'm gonna tell y'all something. I am rooting for those young men. I am rooting for them, and I'm rooting for them because I feel like a lot of that jealousy and stuff was because of him signing such good artists. Also, Dolph had a unique sound. He had a mature sound, and I like that. He was just good, just listening to his stuff now, because I'm telling y'all, when I'm exercising in the morning, I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. When I am exercising, when I'm on that treadmill, the very first song that I play every morning is Get Paid. I'm like, I can't believe I get up listening to this, but Get Paid, I have to think about that, because it's very motivational, as far as I have to think about that. Even when I'm out on situations all in the middle of the night and I want to give up. Like, dog, I'd rather be in the bed. I have to think about getting paid. It's just something about this song that's extremely motivational. So yeah. But anyways, you guys, for those of you who are just coming into the room, I have dropped the link. You all can definitely come up and say something. Also like the video if you don't mind, and also subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to the channel. Also subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I have to say, the first time I had a troll on one of my other videos. I ain't trying to get off subject, but I had a troll, and I ain't mad about it, because I know people troll. We traced them. You are correct. Now that's the perfect time for Bree to reconnect. That's the perfect time for Bree to reconnect, even if they just do on an hour. Oh, yes, indeed. And I think that that's why I said there is no better time than now. People are anticipating the outcome of Dolph's situation. I really, they don't, I truly, they have some of, that's going to be okay. And God is all over that situation. I'm telling you, God is all over that situation. I just hate bad things have to happen for certain things to happen. But I think they should seize the moment also, because even though this investigation is going on, they got some of the best professionals on that's handling that. I think this will be the opportunity for them to unleash as far as doing a pre-tour. They would have so many celebrities. I promise you, I really believe that. I believe it would be, I think a lot of people would come out, a lot of celebrities and everything, and represent for Dolph and show them support. But they gotta have, hopefully they get the right people. And I'm not saying they don't have that around them, because they're better as a whole. Because think about it, each person loves somebody um different. That would love somebody, different. Would be each person would be somebody's favorite. That's what I meant to say. So, yes, indeed. Their followers need to hear something from them. Yes, their followers need to hear something from them. They do. I would love to see them do something, all of them do something together. As far as I would love to see them do something together as far as a tribute to Dolph. I know Key Glock did a tribute to Dolph and it was very nice, proud. But I would love to see all of them do something, a song together for Dolph. Like I said, because he was a Memphian, and I see, the after effects of what he was doing for this city, especially behind the scenes, and helping young men that, especially in this city now, that are really the young men in this city is really a target, the African American men, and I'm saying they're predators to each other. And I think it's designed for it to be that way. And that's unfortunate. So if rapping can help to take them to change their mindset, because a lot of times you can have money. And if your mindset hadn't changed, the money don't do nothing but make you dangerous. To make you a menace to society and make you dangerous to your very own self. And so that's why it would be good they had the right people around them to help them to carry on Dolph's legacy, to get money, to continuously get money. I'm talking about that long money, and help them to start helping them to mature mentally. Because once you start to mature mentally, your circles will start to get smaller. And when you're making money, you really don't really need big circles, because you can grow up with somebody. I'm gonna tell you that you can grow up with somebody, and even though you might break bread with them, you really cannot be around people that want your life. I don't care how long it's okay, as long as you all are struggling together as far as that person is concerned. And even if you give them an opportunity, but if you're in the spotlight, some people just don't know how to handle that. They just have jealous spirits on them. That is very unfortunate. We see what jealousy did to Dolph. We see that. You know, some people just, and they don't know how that when it's there. That's why I always say it says in the Bible, jealousy is as deadly as the grave. That is God's word, and that is so true. Jealousy. Okay, I subscribed. She said I subscribed. Gotta go and work on my own project in Georgia platform. Thank you so much, and and have a good night. Um, yeah, I was saying jealousy is as deadly as the grave. It gives birth to everything evil. It's the mother. of everything evil. It gives birth to anger, it gives birth to death. Like every jealousy gives birth to everything that you see happening, really, that's evil. A lot of people didn't know how to turn their jealousy off as it relates to Dolph. Whoever did this to him didn't know how to turn it off. But like I was saying, I think Pre should seize this moment because them folks got their stuff tied up. I'm telling you, they do. They got it tied up. Them investigators working overtime all night, and I promise you they are. To make sure that this stuff is tied up, and then they got the feds working with them. So, you know, um, I don't know in what capacity, you know, I don't know everything that the feds are doing, but I do know that they ain't even got to worry about that. I just think it's the anticipation of the outcome. I think they should seize this moment to um to move forward. Okay, you guys, whoever would like to come up, you can definitely come up. We got what, 23 people in the room. I dropped the link for those of you who are just coming in. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I be having people in here and they don't know say nothing. I don't mind people coming up saying anything. I just, like I said, I have to stay in balance. And like I said, as people get to know me on here, they're gonna see that. I was trained. You don't let nobody, well, I don't have to tell people how I was trained. But I don't allow people to take me out of balance because I have to be able to I have to be able to do what I have to do. Okay, you guys. So what do you all think? Do you all think that they will be able to carry on um Dolph's legacy? I would like to hear what you all think because I be having people in the room and I promise you they do not be saying nothing. And I be wanting to hear from you all so bad. I be wanting to hear from you all so bad. I've dropped the link. And you're more than welcome to come up. You know, like I said, I don't mind you coming up. I don't mind people having their own opinions. The only thing that I do mind is people coming on here wanting to speak badly about other channels. I can't appreciate that. I don't get into pissing contests. It's just I don't do stuff like that. And I can't speak bad about nobody else's channel because everybody's doing their own thing. What I do, they probably wouldn't even want to do, you know, and that's that. But please like and subscribe. Like I said, if you all would like to support the channel, you can definitely do that. I'm on here talking about Pre tonight and keeping Dolph's legacy alive. You know, I think about with Dolph how Dolph's legacy, what Dolph was building was so awesome that let's see, Pre needs to stick together to survive, strengthen numbers, and hopefully Key Glock can fill Dolph's shoes in the future. Key Glock has a starting soon, several dates. Yeah, I saw that, and I saw where he's sold out on all of his, and I'm very proud of him. He sold out, and that's a beautiful thing. So I'm very proud of Key Glock. I want the interpret. I want them to win so bad. I'm gonna tell you something. I was especially when this first happened, and like I said, I didn't know a lot about his artists until recently, until I started looking into them, right. And I saw, and I don't know why, because all of them are, because I like Snoop bands too. I love Key Glock, but you know, one of my partners said, I want you to go look at Big Moochie's page. I don't know why he was watching his page, but I had never heard of him until then. And I went and looked at his page. He was saying that they had been in the studio all night. And he was saying to his friend, we've been in here, we've been working. And it was about 8 or 9 o'clock. He said, that young man is talented. And that was one of the officers. He said, that young man is talented. He said he's got a great work ethic. And I think from that point on, when I started watching him just like he was, I want to see them win so badly. And he does. He rides, lyrics, because my friend is into that, to rap. But he rides. He knows how to ride lyrics, ride beats. As far as his lyrics, he just kind of sort of put you in the mind, even though their sound is a little different as far as their voice. He just kind of sort of puts you in the mind. He could be another Notorious B.I.G. Key Glock has a real laid back, cool sound. Like it's different. Snoop Bands has another different kind of sound. Like they're all so gifted. They all have something different to offer. And I would love to see a pre-concert with all of the artists. Like I said, this would be that time to seize that moment. I don't think they realize that. Like this is the time to seize that moment. So many people will come out and support them. I promise you, there are so many people that are watching them that they would never even know that want to see them win. Like people calling me, I never even thought would be watching them. They really want to see those young men win because they see the vision that Dolph had for them and what Dolph was trying to do for them. And I would hate to see people come in, see the opportunity to divide and conquer, because that's what they do in groups where you the leader. You don't need them when actually it takes a village. It takes the whole vision. It takes all of that. And they need somebody to be able to help them to mediate. Because you're talking about young men, I'm telling you now, they probably have temper tantrums and stuff and differences of opinion. But if you got the right person that also sees Dolph vision, Dolph that also sees Dolph's vision, I think that they could do it as far as a concert. I want them to win so badly because it'll show Dolph had that plan. Them winning solidifies Dolph's legacy with absolutely. That's exactly how I feel. They need to just focus on music. Success is the best get. Oh, absolutely. Success is the best get back. I'm telling you. Hmm, they'll say, "Dog, we thought we was, because it was." I'm gonna tell you something. Even though they took Dolph down, it wasn't. See, the devil knows how to fool people. It wasn't really the physical body that those clowns wanted to take down. It was really his vision that they wanted to kill. And it has backfired. Thank you, God. It has backfired on them. See, they had to kill the physical body, and they did, but it was their vision that it was a vision that they really wanted to kill. And they ain't even been able to hold. They really ain't. Even though he in the grave, they ain't even. His spirit is still walking around here because he everywhere. So they still ain't been able to hold him down. Ain't that something? The man gone, but they still ain't been able to hold him in the grave because everything about him is still around here. That's why I want to see that. I want to see them put a CD out for Doll. They sure did. They sure did. You know what? Um, I would like to see them go on tour with that CD. I would like to see all of them go on tour. You know what? They do got a CD out. So I would like to see them. That's a reason for all of them to go on tour and perform that. I'm telling you, this is the opportunity to seize the moment. Everybody is worried about the the outcome of what's going to happen as far as his murder and all of the indictments that's coming. Yeah, that people don't even need to be worried about that because them folks got that. This would be the moment to seize and for them boys to go. I promise you, in a year, they'd be multimillionaires because this would represent um Dolph's legacy. I promise you. I saw a question earlier. Pre has a female artist, Jody Badass. Okay. See, I haven't. I had heard about a female artist, but I didn't know that. See, that would be good. like I said, if somebody was to help them, they got the sponsors and stuff and put a tour together. Let's see, they tried to kill Flipper Swag. Yeah, they tried to kill his swag. It was his vision. It was his vision that they wanted, that they was after, because their minds couldn't fathom that, or they couldn't understand that. See, he was a giver. And so God gave back to him 10 times. You know what I mean? It was the vision that they tried to kill, but so they had to kill the body, and they ain't even been able to hold that down because their vision is still up here. You see what I mean? So even though they killed him, they ain't been able to hold him down still. They still ain't been able to hold him down. Dolph still finessing him. Yeah, Dolph still finessing him. Them killing Dolph immortalized Dolph. So much more people discovered Dolph after his murder. I wish he was still here physically to see the support and how many people really love his music. That's so true because, like I said, I'm on that treadmill in the morning. Get paid, young nigga, get paid. That's what I'm listening to in the earphones. You know, that is a inspiration. Whatever you do, just be sure you get paid. I promise you, that's a motivational song, especially when with what I have to deal with. I have to think about. I have to count from. I have to count from 10 sometimes. I don't y'all fight, y'all. My puppies want to fight. One of them don't want the other one around me, so she tries to fight her. You all, I dropped the link. If anybody wants to come up, you can definitely come up. I'm dropping the link. I do not have any issues with people coming up. And the topic is will they be able to carry on the legacy? I think it would be a beautiful thing if they would. I think they should have a tour with all of the artists. I truly think if they had the right representation, like the young lady said, they would be able to make a whole lot of money, and it would represent, because like I said, even though I don't go to rap concerts, I would go and support this one. And it's a lot of people, especially around the Mid-South area, because this would represent Dolph's dream, because it's a lot of people that was around this area, the Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas area that was completely hurt. There's a lady, an older lady that's on my that's on my on one of my Instagram page, and she's an older lady. Every single day she's sharing pictures of Dolph. You know, she's from West Memphis, Arkansas, which is West Memphis, Arkansas. That's over there in Arkansas. Is about 6 minutes from Memphis, right? The name of the city is West Memphis, but it's Arkansas. And she's always sharing pictures of Dolph, and she's in her late 50s. And I think one of the reasons that she's always sharing pictures of him is because I think she was a patient at that cancer institute at one time that he gave all that money to. So, he really affected a lot of people's lives in a good way, and that's why we want to see his dream carried on. Rule number 1, get the money. Rule number 2, don't forget to get the money. That I'm telling you now, those are my 2 favorite verses. Rule number 1, get the money. Rule number 2, don't forget to get the money. Thank you, love. You have a good night. Yam. Thank you, love, for coming on. Have a good night. Okay, you guys, for those of you all that are just coming into the room, like and subscribe, like the video and subscribe. If you all have any questions for me, you can definitely come up. If you want to come up and talk about anything, you can come up. Let me drop the link again. I related to Dolph because of the relationship with his grandma. Yeah, I did too. His grandma, you could tell though, because like I said, all kids are bad. We've all gotten into stuff. I've always been with me growing up. I went into the right profession because I was always secretive and curious. So all kids are, have their own little things going on. But you could tell that he was raised like with his mannerism, like when he did interviews, you could tell that he was raised in a structured home with the grandmother. You could tell his grandmother raised him by the way he folded his arms. My mother, we was looking at an interview together, and he had his arms folded a certain way. My mom said, yeah, his grandmother sure raised him. And mostly when grandmothers have to, because he talked about how his parents were on drugs. When grandparents have to raise their grandchildren, they kind of raise them old fashioned. They a lot of times they end up being bad because kids are bad. Yeah, he was raised old fashioned. Team Beater said money bag yo and youngster pay for that hit. I tell you. Well, the only thing I got to say about that, who's that Teamster? If they did, them folks going he got a good team of investigators and agents and federal agents that are working at that case. So I don't think they're gonna leave any wheels unturned. So whoever is involved in that situation, I don't they're not gonna leave any wheels unturned. Them folks sitting up working all night on that. You know, one of my best friends is you know, yeah, them folks work all night on those cases. On that, especially on that case. But they have a lot of cases because there's so much going on in this area. There's a lot going on in this area. So if they are team beaters, not only does God got it, but he's using man to get it to. So because like I say, we'll see in the end. We will see. There's a video of YG giving Bags a meal for his birthday. People trying to connect that bag to doll. Wow. I wonder how I wonder how they would try to connect that to a doll. Because Moneybag Yo, I cannot tell any stories. He's a good rapper. Um I don't know though, I would connect it to, especially if it was on video, to flossing. That's what I would connect it to, especially being a Memphian and they are from Memphis. That was strictly probably for video, but I don't know. I didn't see it, so um, I don't know if there's some people behind the scenes that know. But just if that is it, if they had it on video, I don't think they would exchange money on video like that. If it was for something like that, I don't know though. People do. I've seen some crazy stuff that people do though, but I don't know. I don't know. It was probably just flossing. It's probably strictly for video. Um, Project Death Spell, kind of like how King Von did with a black, but I think that's a stretch. I wonder. I'm gonna have to go and look at that situation with King Von, because see, I never heard of King Von. I never heard of King Von. I mean, so was King Von from out of Texas? What area was King Von from out of? For those of you that are just coming into the room, please like the channel. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you all would like to support the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. And I want to say that I truly appreciate all of you all who have been getting on every night and who have been rocking with me, because we stays on late. My girl hadn't came up on the panel yet, but I'm sure she gonna pop in at any minute. She was charging her phone up. Um, Project Death Spell Chicago. Okay. He's from Chicago. So King Von is from Chicago. So his situation was something similar to a doll situation. There's another young man that I hear people talking about, Mo3. Mo3. Yeah, they said that his situation was similar to Dolph's. I was looking at another young lady's video. Her name is Lowdown. I like her commentary too. I think it's interesting. You know, her videos. I've looked at some of her videos, and she's kind of broken down the Mo3, or that's what I was looking at because I had never heard of Mo3. I saw her, and the reason I clicked on it was because I saw when she was saying that situation was similar to the Dolph's situation. So that's what made me clear. That's what piqued my interest with it. But I'd never heard of Mo3. So I'm guessing he was kind of similar to Dolph. He had he had a record label or something. Thank you, love. I thank you so much, Toya, for liking the page. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. For those of you that are just coming in, please like and subscribe. Also, if you all would like to support the channel, you can definitely do that. But like I said, you guys, with the DOS, with pre, I think this is a good time. I think the energy is good. I really believe, and this is just in my opinion, even I really you know, a lot of people go, well, Dolph is turning over in his grave. No, I don't think he is. I think Dolph is truly really proud. I think Dolph is really proud about what the investigators are doing. People just don't know, you know, what they are doing. But I think that he's proud about that. I think that he is proud about that, and I think that he would be even prouder if they all did a pre-tour. Because, like I said, I'll come out and support that myself because that represents the dream. King Von's situation is paid for if BG Duck getting killed and now Von is dead. I'm gonna have to go read about it because I think I've seen people talk about Von, but I never heard of him. I have to go look into that. In the Von's case, was Von's case ever? Oh Lord, this person sent me all these messages and I'm on live. Was the Von case solved? You all, or is it cold? A lot of these cases go cold because, you know, people don't talk or they're too scared to talk. So we just got to thank God that Daw's case didn't go cold, right? Because there are two people that are charged, and there's one that's on the run, allegedly. Let's see. Yes, they indicted. Oh my God! So it was the people around him that did that to him. Wow. O Block got the RICO. Okay, Von got killed in Atlanta during a fist fight. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to read about that. I'm gonna have to read about that. But you all, like I said, if y'all want to come up here and say something about about the state of pre, do you all think that they would be able to um should they do a tour? Do you think that the tour would be sold out, like as far as carrying on the legacy? Like I said, I think Daddy O is one of those. That's how you could tell he a real boss. I haven't seen Daddy O on camera but one time. Um, that's a person. See, people like that, you have to those are the ones that you have to really watch. Because he definitely stays in the back. Those are the ones that takes care of business. They're the ones that take care of business. So you said and all these goofy self snitched. Oh Lord. Well, looks like that's what happened in Daw's case too, with a lot of these situations, with quite a few things. So you guys, the topic is do you all think that they will be able to carry on Dolph's legacy? We have quite a few people on. I yeah, I just dropped the link. If you all would like to come up and talk, you can definitely do that. I know for me, I am definitely rooting for those young men. I am. I'm rooting for them because all of those young men are, and I think just for me, I'm always rooting for African American men. Just in particular, I'm always, I want to see anybody do well, but I know that African American men are endangered, and I just love to see them do well. Um, I understand. I understand. Lil Durk is next for a RICO charge for putting money with Von to kill FBG Duck. And see, that's what I can't understand. It seems to me that they're making rap into, they're weaponizing rap. They are weaponizing it. People have been battling. For those of y'all that grew up in the 80s like I did, they've been battle rapping on the mic for years and years and years. Ain't nothing changed. But when did it become this terrible? When did it become this terrible? Like I said, I can't understand young men sitting up being in gangs and fighting for um turf, with I guess that's what they used to call it, in neighborhoods that the Memphis Housing Authority own. That it's just really sick. But you think about it, okay? You see, I was looking at a young man on social media the other day. He was holding his son, and he was saying, my son was born into this. So I kept reading, and these folks so crazy. They put everything on Facebook and on Instagram. My son was born into this. So you're affiliating your little son that's on your hip in a gang organization. What could be good about that? But unfortunately, that probably is what happened to him. And so he don't know any better. That's what's unfortunate. So that's why I love to see young men, especially when they're out in the street and they beat the odds and they flip that thing like Dolph did, because Dolph was out in the street because he said it. And they flip that thing and change their mindset. Because some of these folks, God help them and bless them and take them out of some bad situations. And their mindset ain't right. And they go and they mess it up and they become a menace to society. They was already a fool. They just become a fool with money, which is very dangerous. Because we already see that people would do anything for some money. They've made money their God. It's unfortunate. No morals, nothing. They made money their God. And that's why we see all of this stuff happening. And then when somebody come up on something, they rapped about it also. Oh Lord. And these folks rapping about stuff that they do. They don't care about putting their families' lives in danger or anything like that. It's sad. Like like some of this stuff, like it's unbelievable. Even as it relates to the Dolphs situation, a lot of this stuff I'm talking about that has been just on social media has been absolutely crazy. Somebody sent me a and it was probably just a troll. Somebody sent me a posted like a threat on my page. I believe it was yesterday. We traced them back so quick, it was ridiculous. Like these people don't like. That's why I say like these folks are crazy. Now I'm trying to decide on what I'm gonna do because you know, they are terroristic threats, and I think these people don't understand that when they do things of this nature, they act like they can't be traced back. You know, they go and they hide behind fake pages and things of that nature. And they ain't got sense enough to know that there are people that have certain things that can trace you back. It's it's weird. And like I said, that's how you know that everybody is something that you know is something wrong. And it's not even that serious because everybody get on here and they commentate. They do their thing. I don't try to stop nobody's bag, but I sure don't want to be putting nobody's life in danger. Okay. I just don't want to be doing that. And I think for me too, because, and it's only because I heard somebody say something, no private investigator will go and be hired for a case. The feds and the local agency is actively working. Like I keep saying, Daw's case is so hot. If you try to touch it, it'll burn you because them folks all over that. You know, yeah, them folks are all over that. Okay, you guys, I'm going to I'm trying to do 2 and 3 things at one time, you guys. But I think people need to calm down, you know. You have to, and I ain't nobody's mama, but, and I be wanting for people to get on here and talk about what they want to talk about. But I just don't want nobody getting on here putting nobody else's life in danger. You know, it's okay to have your opinion because folks have their opinion of what they think happened. It's pretty cool to me because I like to hear people's opinions. You know what I mean? I love to hear a person's opinion. But when it starts to go left and it starts to mess with my energy, I can't hardly deal with that because then it starts to throw me off of balance. And I don't want that to trickle down to the people that are on my live. I don't, because I really appreciate the people that get on here. And when the head is out of order, if the head is out of order, then can't nothing function right, right? And when I say head, I'm not the head of y'all life or anything. I'm just the head of this channel. And I appreciate people getting on here to listen to my commentary. You know, I do appreciate that a lot. And that's why I try to keep the vibes right. I try to keep the vibes right. But I dropped the link, you all. And if you all want to come up here, we are talking about do you all think that these young men will be able to carry on Dolph's legacy? I do. I definitely know that they have the talent to I definitely know that they have the talent to carry it on. They definitely have the talent. Um but do they have good representation in the background? We do know that they need good representation in the forefront because they basically have been representing for themselves, right? They've kind of been out there, but we haven't seen, like the young lady said, like a PR person to come to the front. And we're only talking about this, right, because we want to see them win. You know, they haven't had a PR person to come to the front, to come to the forefront to represent for them. That could be good to package that up really good for them and to do a tour. I truly believe they can get the sponsors and the support, and people would come out. I'm talking about big stars. This is the right time. If there was ever a time, it is the right time right now. I think there's no better time than right now for them to put a tour together. Like they were saying, they got out a CD or whatever, but I think they should go on tour to get somebody that knows how to get the right kind of sponsors for them and put them on tour. They get the right people around them because they're going to need the right people around them. I'm talking about as far as their immediate circle, and go on tour and rock every city that they go in. I'm happy that Key Glock, I think he's sold out, but I would like to see everybody as a whole. I would like to see Moochie. I would like to see Snoop Bands and Paper Route Woo and Paper Route Fizzle and Grove Hero. All of them, they would sell out. I'm telling you, they would sell out because see, so many people are. I think a lot of people are wanting to see them fail. That's why, as I was fussing before, I said I saw a lot of people talking about the head gone. They ain't gonna be able to carry on. The devil is a lie. They will be able to carry on. They will, instead of encouraging them, you know, to let them know y'all took out our head, but y'all couldn't kill his vision, because really that's all they wanted to do. They wanted to kill their vision, and they had to kill his body. But here's the thing, they messed themselves over, because the vision is still alive. The very thing that they wanted is still alive. Let's see. Daddy O got pre Daddy O got the pre boys back also. When you say Daddy O got, oh yeah, he's got the pre, yeah. I've heard people say, because he's been quiet, and when people when people are real street like Daddy O, and he's, I mean, they be real quiet. But I'm sure that he's guiding them in the background. I've heard people say, that they feel like, I don't understand how people can feel like a man that they don't even see talk. Because I don't see Daddy O doing any interviews. Could be a part of it unless they know him personally. But like I said, with the type of representation as far as like federal agents and investigators that Dolph got on his case, I just think the spirit of Dolph woke up a lot of things, in the name of Dolph. I think when they finish all these investigations, they should name they should name them in the name of Dolph when they finish, in the name of Dolph, because a lot of stuff, a lot of cans of worms was open, you know, in the name of Dolph. Key Glock said he talked to Daddy O on the Dolph tribute song. Yeah. Um, and I know a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people kind of, because Key Glock was Dolph's cousin, um, he's kind of, I guess he would be kind of like the leader as far as the other young men. But I want, that's why I say it would be good for them to even hire, like, choreographers and people to help them with their rhythm. Because I think Dolph had just started working with those young men and help them to be um show savvy, to keep the crowd going, because a lot of times when people have the talent, they have the talent, but they have to have the right type of like choreographers and people to help them to learn how to keep the crowd going in big shows. You know what I mean? It's not enough to just rap, but also get the crowd into it, keep the momentum going. Like they, whomever is working for them, I hope they do that, and then send them on a and then send them on a and then do a tour, a pre-tour with all of the artists, with all of the artists. Okay, you guys, for those of you that are just coming into the room, please like the video. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I kind of want to do something positive tonight. Right before I got on, I had another subject, and I probably, if I get on, if I'm not out on my situations too late tomorrow night, I might get on and talk about what I was going to talk about tonight. But I'm glad that I did get on, because and talk about Pre, because you know everybody talk about the murder case, and I think his vision, what he stood for, what he had created, kind of gets overlooked. And he had built a roster, and he had Pre, even though we affiliate him with Pre, we associate, because it's, that was his label. People are not talking about that because it gets overshadowed by the murder case. Like I said, them folks got that stuff sewn up, as far as that is concerned. I think we need to, um, help the young men too. If we're truly concerned about the legacy of Doll, root for these young men. You know, I hear a lot of people talk about key glock, and that's a beautiful thing, but there are other artists on there that's awesome. You know, there are other artists on there that are awesome, that are very talented. And I'm glad that you got on the air tonight as well. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that you came on. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate everybody being here. If anybody would like to come up, you can definitely come up. And you could definitely come up and what do you all have to say? I would love to hear. That's right, Legacy for Doll. I would love to hear if I have any men on here. I'm gonna tell y'all something. When I hear men rooting on other young men, there is nothing like that. I promise you, I love it so much. Because as women, I know we're the ones that, you know, do a lot of the rooting, and the men are all cool and stuff. You know, those are the types of men that I grew up around. Um, they would be all cool. I grew up around a lot of soldier type men, though. My dad was a he was kind of hardcore in the beginning. You know, he was a politician for 20 years till he decided to he was an elected official. He was not a politician. My dad was real hard to the core, one of the best elected officials that anybody could ever meet, and they elected him because he was so good for the people. And I think that's why I like Dolph, because with Dolph, he was a giver. My dad gave back to this community for 20 years, you know, until we had to pull him out. We told him, you can't run no more, Dad. You just need to go ahead and sit down. And right now, he still ain't sitting down because he's such a giver. He bought a museum, and we're getting ready to open up a women's museum here in Memphis. So I'm very excited about that too. So, you know, giving back is the thing. I love to see people giving back, and and when I say my dad and my grandfather and them were quiet, they were soldiers. They built um, wealth for their, or they built things, legacies for their children, and their children. And I remember my grandfather used to always say to us when we were children, "What I do ain't for me; it's for y'all." And y'all children, and we would be little kids, and we go, "We ain't having no kids," but I understand, you know, what he means by that now. And so it makes me so proud when I see other men rooting on other men. When I see, because we women do it all the time, we're the cheerleaders. You know, that's why they call us cheerleaders. But when I see other men rooting on other men, child, it makes me want to shoot. It ain't, I mean, that I be one. Let me record that. Let me say, you know, I'd be so proud. You know, it makes me so happy when I see that. You know, because you know, all men are talented, but I was always taught, especially growing up around men that believed in building. There's nothing better than a African American man, and now I see what they're doing to our men. They are weaponizing rap and taking down good men. You see Doc with his children. That's priceless. That man adored those children. He adored them. You know. So that's why I want to see other. I like to see. That's why I say y'all get on here. What do y'all have to say about pre? I like to see other people win. And I love to see, especially other men, because we women, we're the cheerleaders anyways. I like to see other men cheering on other men. And at this point, even though I know these young men are young and they're saying we're gonna hold it together, I'm sure they are lost in some kind of way. They was thrown off of balance because I mean it was instant. And that's what the enemy wanted to do, throw them off balance. It has backfired in their faces. Whoever did this, I'm sure their faces are on the floor because it has backfired. You know, that's right. Put those dolphins in there. We riding, you know, we riding for the legacy, the spirit. That's what I'm saying. I like to say the spirit of Dolph, because when you talk about somebody's spirit, and all that he was doing in the community, all that he had did for the community. We want to keep the spirit of Dolph going, you know. But for those of you that have just came into the room, I would like for you to like and subscribe. I'm so glad that you all are here. I almost talked about something different tonight, but I think if you all don't have anything to do tomorrow, I want to get on and talk about a cold case. Um, I would like to take you all on a journey with me, and I kind of wanted to bring the young lady's mother on. So I might do that tomorrow. I know I got to go out on a situation down in Mississippi where I was hired for a case where a young man was pulled over, and this was 9 years ago. He was pulled over by the one of these cities in Mississippi, a small city in Mississippi. He was pulled over by the police department, a police officer, and ain't been seen a day since. So we all know what happened with that, especially in those old small towns. I'm talking about going further south because some of the cities, like what I live in Mississippi, are like suburban area, like right outside of Memphis. But when you're going further south down there, like towards the casino and stuff, those are small towns. He was on his way to his cousin's funeral, and they pulled that man over and has not been seen since. So, yes, Dolph. Yes, Dolph absolutely adored his children. Dolph often stated to his daughter, "Your daddy's chocolate baby." Dolph was instilling confidence in his child. Yes, indeed. And she looked just like her father. She looked just like her dad. Like it was almost like he just spit her out himself. You know, her eyebrows and stuff go up just like her dad and her granddaddy, because Dolph had features of his dad, and she looks just like her dad and features of her grandfather. Yeah. So what do you all think? Like I said, do you all think that Pre will be able to um keep the legacy? Yes, Dolph's twin, absolutely. And his son had his features too, but to me, his son looked had more features of his mother, and he looked a lot like Dolph's dad in some kind of way. He looked like he smiled like his dad and stuff too. So yeah, his son is very handsome. I'm gonna tell you something too. Um, you could tell with the maturity of that young man that he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. I truly believe that he's gonna grow up. You could just see it all over his spirit, the way that he takes care of his mother. Um, that he's gonna grow up and continue on his dad's legacy. He's going to be smart. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I truly believe that. I just do. It's all over that child. I just do. But those of you all that just came into the room, please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you would like to donate to the channel, you could definitely do that. I would appreciate that also. Um, we are talking about Dolph's legacy, the legacy of Pre. Like I said, I don't know why those young men stay in my spirit. I know why they stay in my spirit, because I want to see them win. When I see that young men are hungry, and they are truly hungry, and they want to win, because a lot of young men, especially when they come up in certain areas, they don't have the opportunities, because even if some of them, if their parents wanted to give them the opportunity, they don't know how to go about giving it to them. So um their thing is just get a job and make it, you know. But to be self-made millionaires, and you're able to become a millionaire off the talent that God gives you, because we all have different talents, right? To see that, and there are so many other young men like them, but seeing them in a concert, I don't know why, I think I'm speaking it into an existence. Somebody actually truly doing them right as far as the financial part, and them having a concert. Oh my God, that would be so awesome. That would be so awesome, and there is no better time than now. It is. I think they need to seize this moment, because once all of this stuff is wrapped up, I'm talking about, because you never know, because people lose. interest in stuff, people have the attention, like they say, of a gnat. But I have to say, people have been riding for Dolph. Like we be talking about that all the time. Like, dog, you got people all in Dallas, Chicago, in Missouri. I mean, like L.A., like everywhere. They be riding and representing for Dolph all around the Mid South. I'm like, dog, we appreciate that so much, and I'm serious. That is just awesome the way they represent for him. They ain't letting nobody forget. So whoever did this to them, they suffering because you got people everywhere throwing up. I was the other young man on the channel. I like his channel. Code figure. He got that pre chant. I like that. I find myself saying pre. We are pre. I'm like, Lord have mercy. I got the pre chant now. That's just a catchy little thing. And I actually thought in the beginning when he was saying pre, I was like, oh, okay, they got a song pre. I actually thought that was a chant that the artist that was already like Dolph them had. But this is a chant he done made up, and he got everybody all over singing it because I be singing pre. Um, let's see. People are definitely riding for Dolph all around. Yes, indeed. People are riding for Dolph. Like you look at all the YouTube channels, I be looking at pre we are pre, and look at me. We are pre. Here's a million for you. What he be saying? There's a million for you. Here's a million for you. March them phonies. I think that's what he's saying. Yeah, pre. We are pre. It's a lot of people. Um, that be riding for Dolph. A lot of good content, a lot of creative content, all over the internet. Like I said, these folks, I'm telling you, these folks throwing this stuff in. I'm telling you, they ain't letting it die. And like I said, and they're not afraid to say we represent. We represent for Dolph. You hear people saying R.I.P. Long live Dolph. I mean, because I know people have tried to be. There are some that try to be. Well, but no, the people are riding for him. They are. They represent these youth in these YouTube streets. These folks all over the United States representing for him. I'm like, dog, even in his death, like he got people putting in. You go to, and it makes me so proud. You go to people's pages, they tag in Memphis. I'm like, this boy has just put Memphis on in a whole nother level also. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something. We've had a lot of good artists too to come out of Memphis. I always say because I know quite a few of the New Orleans rappers, right? And I love the bounce music. And I always tell them, you know what? I have to rep. I just have to be loyal to my Memphis rappers, but I have to. I'm slick. I slick like that bounce music. Yes, you got it. There's a lot of potential for the pre-label, but they need to capture it. Yes, I keep saying this is the opportunity. See, a lot of people are, and everybody's curious about the ending of what's going to happen because I'm even curious about the ending. But them folks doing their thing, like I said, as far as Dolph, I would have to say Dolph would probably be proud about um about how these folks work in his situation. They're gonna have to get a lot of this other crime and stuff out of control. I mean, in control that's out of control. But that's the officers in the street, right? The patrolmen, that's what they have to do. They have to patrol more. They're gonna have to hire more good officers, and then they're gonna have to tighten up on these laws. They probably gonna have to bring in the National Guard. I'm not against that here in Memphis. They need to go and bring in the National Guard. But as far as them agents and them investigators, they got Dolph case down pat. I'm sure that so this would be the opportunity. Michelle Johnson said, I saw a channel where Shondell and Black Youngster video in 2017. Yeah, I saw that video too. Where he was in his video back in 2017. I wonder where he at today, though. I wonder where he at now. That's what I be wondering. Like, where he at? What went on with that? Because that was really strange. But we talked about that last night. As far as what I thought happened, I just think it's weird. Yes, I have been saying it. Bring in the National Guard. Yeah, they're gonna have to bring in the National Guard. They are going to have to bring in the National Guard into Memphis because they're gonna have to bring in the National Guard because things are out of control. Like I said, people aren't. And you think about it, back in the day, black people didn't take heroin. They didn't. That was not a. It was not even in our neighborhoods. But these kids now are on heroin. They drinking lean. If you look at them, because I pay real close attention to people's eyes. If when people are talking to me, they can't look at me. I can't do. I can't necessarily do business with them or nothing. But I pay attention to people. I pay attention to people's eyes. Um, and when you look at a lot of these younger people, you look at their eyes and stuff. They zombified. They are zombified, and it's because these drugs that they are on, and it has them doing a whole lot of crazy stuff. They drinking lean. Um, it's sad. It's sad. What they, I don't have anything against people smoking weed. I'm allergic to smoke, so I can't smoke anything. I never have. But if you think about it now, I was looking at um something with Bob Marley from some time back, and I'm gonna get back on pre in a minute. But sometime back with Bob Marley was talking about, and that had to been like back in like '79. He was talking about weed, and it was an herb, and I'm sure it was an herb back then because they was trying to ban it, and it was really healing people because it was truly a herb. He says that when I smoke it, I'm able to go into the studio, write music. He said it takes me to another level. I'm conscious on a whole nother level. And if you think about it, back then, everybody was talking about it then, right? About what weed was doing for them then. So and they was able to grow it. But now it's a chemical. They're growing it in laboratories, and now it's legal. I would be afraid of it. It ain't no herb anymore. It ain't healing nothing. Back then, it was truly healing people, and that's why they made it illegal. And so now they start growing it in laboratories and put all kinds of chemicals in it, and black folks still think it's a herb. And then they smoking it, and it's doing something to their brains still, I think. Um, where's Shondell? Is it true that he run off with straight drop money? I don't know. I heard that on YouTube. When I saw it, I screamed. I was like, Lord Jesus. I don't know though. I don't know if he ran off with his money. If he did, he was wrong. Um, let's see. Anywho, it's so sad the way people drug themselves up to cope. Absolutely. Absolutely. My grandmother used to always say, when you get through getting high, whatever you're trying to get away from, when you come back down off that high, it's going to be sitting right there waiting for you. And it's the truth. I'm talking about problems or anything. Back in the 60s and 70s, they was doing it, and now they are doing it all over again. Shaking my head. Mm-hmm. Yep. You guys, also for you all that are just coming into the room, make sure you like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Um, Also, if you all would like to support the channel, you can definitely do that. Amen to your grandmother. Yeah. When you come down off of that high, those problems that you're running from, they're going to be right there waiting on you. They're going to be right there waiting on you. There are so many children that have been affected because unfortunately for a lot of black people, we have codependent personalities. We are codependent on certain things because we have not been taught coping skills like the older generation was, right? No coping skills. I think a lot of the reasons why you think I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, back when I was coming up and like when I became a teenager in the early 90s, right? Like around 12 years old, 11, 12 years old. And we started to go into high school. Let's see, I went into high school in the mid 90s. So it was with young men because they was taught better coping skills. This stuff has been engineered. When a young lady would reject a young man, it was fine because he would just keep trying, right? Even if he had an agenda, it was fun. She tell him no, he just keep trying to get with her, right, until she gave in. But now a young lady can't even reject a young man because they're so emotionally unstable. He ready to shoot her down because they are not used to rejection. They don't, I mean, just emotionally unstable. That's how you know that it's engineered. It's they've been working on our generations for a long time. Like I said, heroin was not even a drug that black people did. Where did it come from? That's not a drug that people would even touch in our community. But now every other kid is on it. So, and trying to get to it, like they've made it. They're weaponizing rap so bad. A lot of this rap to the point of when they're trying to push a agenda, they definitely start pushing a certain artist. You know, I see so many different artists. So I'm talking about so many different types of artists. Like you think about, I can't think of the young man's name. Um, what's the name of that song? I'm gonna. What's the name of that song? I'm gonna ride until I can't no more. I can't think of that young man's name. Okay, when you know they started pushing him out front to push a agenda. You know, they try to desensitize you and make you think certain things are okay, but they do it in the black community. Because if you look at the white community, I mean, because they push, and I'm not talking better because I don't, I mean, I raised my girls, and I was a single mother when I raised my babies. But they that's what they promote in the black community now, though, being a baby mama. It's cool to be a baby mama, but they don't promote that in the white community. You know, I'm not a Republican, but I remember that this guy had ran. I believe his name was Mick Romney. This is how they ruin. This is how they ruin. And I'm independent because I see how these folks is crooked. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. So I'm just gonna vote for what's right. I ain't voting for nobody just because they're a Democrat. Because the reason why a lot of these, and I ain't trying to get into politics, the reason why black people are in the state that we are in now is because we vote for people um based on parties, and they beating us across the head. They really just messing over us. But they was asking, they was doing a debate. I forgot who he was running against, and they like to put pacifiers in our mouth. They get to talk about, well, I'm gonna raise the welfare, I'm gonna raise the food stamps, because they feel like that's what all they need to do to keep the black people in line. Give them a little check that's gonna always keep them in bondage. I'm not talking about people that need it as a hand up, right? But Mick Romney said, and it made everybody mad at the time until you start getting older and recognizing what they're doing and the games that they play with us and our children. He said, well, why don't we tell these girls to get them a husband that can help them? They was talking about teen pregnancy. Why don't we promote abstinence or protected sex, or tell them to get married, get them a husband that can help them and build a family that can help them to take care of their children? And people spin that so bad, just went crazy. But he was right. Why don't we promote that? the family structure in the African American community, because I feel like things are out of balance, and they're going to always be out of balance until there's some reconciliation with the African American man and the African American woman. And I'm going to get off of that and get back on pre, because see, y'all know how I am. That's right, Lil Nas X. That's him. You right. That's absolutely right. The Kardashians have made it popular. That's what they did. And they marketed the Kardashians appeal to who? The black community. Because white people think they trash and know it. And we all not be supporting them, because every black man they get their hand on go into a sunken place. But I guess they represent fantasy or something like that. And y'all see every man that they put their hand on, they ruin their careers. But y'all, that's for another show. For those of y'all that have just come into the room, please like and subscribe. And also, if you would like to support the channel, you can definitely do that. Yeah, you could definitely do that. I'm going to drop the link again for those of you all that would like to come up. Y'all, I always say we're going to be on here an hour. And I think we've been on here 2 hours, because we get to talking. It's people in the room. I mean, it is people in the room. Tonight we're talking about pre, and we're talking about the future of pre. What do you all think about the artists that's on pre? And do you think they will be able to carry on Dolph's legacy? Yes, now that there is a baby on the way, still wanting, waiting on Rihanna and Rocket to jump the broom. They try to, but they promote this in the black community. When they promote being a strong black woman, and that's it's good to be a strong black woman, but but they don't, but you know it's better when it's good when you have a man that's strong and got your back instead. And it's only in our community they have it where the women have switched roles. The women are the masculine ones, and the men be acting like the little girls sometimes. And that is what is promoted in our communities. It's only in our community, because there is a fear of the African American man. And so I think every time black people start to become conscious, drugs are incorporated in one form or another, through vaccinations, um, through street drugs and things of that nature. Mental drugs. People probably wouldn't be so mental ill if they weren't if they weren't taking all that we needed for the nourishment of our bodies out of the foods and putting certain things in the water and stuff. Like, yeah, I'm up on top of all that stuff. We'll talk about that another time, because I could go on and on all night. And what I actually got on here for was to talk about the future of pre-nation. As what's his name, Coach Figure be saying, pre-nation. Because I want to see these young men do well. Exactly. In our community, the black woman is promoted oftentimes on the job, and her black male, in many cases, is left feeling less than. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's what they would like to. The roles have switched, and that's a sad thing. And so then you find a lot of men getting out of character because they feel less than, so they feel the need to demean their women. And that's how a lot of stuff end in divorces. People end up hating each other because he don't know how to express his frustration or tell her, I'm jealous of you. So he starts to demean her. And you're right. There's a lot of potential for free with the right management. Absolutely. Like I said, I see where Key Glock is doing his thing, and that's good. I'm happy to see that. But I want to see, I think right now it's time for them to right now it's definitely the time for them to go on tour. This would be the time for them to go on tour. Like I said, I know everybody is, and they probably are too. And I know they try and be strong or whatever for Dolph, but this is the time for all of them to go on tour. While everybody is interested in the Dolph situation, because once these folks tie up everything and this this case is finally put to rest, people are going to move on to the next thing. Right now, everybody's still interested. And we would love, so I think they should seize the moment and jump on this right now. Like I said, there is no better moment than now. So I think I've dropped the link before, you guys. If anybody would like to come up, you could definitely come up if you want to come up and talk about, you know, um, whatever you want to talk about as it relates to young Dolphin Pre. That would be a good thing. That would definitely be a good thing. Because that's why I got on tonight. Because like I said, I can't stay on to 5 in the morning tonight, because I got to get up early in the morning and go down to a little city in Mississippi. I'm investigating a case down there, a case that went cold on a missing person. But we already know what happened. That police department did something to that man. They actually killed him. But we're going to see, though. I'm going to bring as much attention to it as I can. Exactly. Yes, there's a lot of potential for Pre. I'm going to put the link in here again. I'll put the link in there again. If you all have anything that you would like to talk about, you could definitely come up and talk about it. I would love to hear what you have to say about Pre. Who is your favorite artist? On Pre, because they definitely have some good talent. I just want to see Dolph's dream, because, and I guess it goes back to what I was saying, because I know that he was gunned down because people didn't want to see his, because of all he had on the inside of him, as far as his vision and all of that. I would love to see those young men carry that on, but they are still young men that was just learning the game. They was looking for Dolph to continuously guide them, So I would love to see somebody step in that truly cares about Pre just as much as they do, or Dolph did, with the vision that Dolph had, and lead them in the right direction. Let them know that unity is the way. They're stronger in numbers. Like Key Glock is selling out, and that's a good thing. But if all of them got together, I'm telling you, I know it. If they all booked the tour with all of them on it and named the tour Pre Living, continue living Dolph's dream or whatever, they have all kinds of celebrities, especially at this point while the whole world is talking about Paper Route. Like I said, folks representing, like you can't turn on a YouTube channel without seeing somebody representing on their channel for Dolph. They got his picture everywhere. People consistently covering his case. Folks have been showing so much love to him, period. And just representing. I think they would sell out in many different cities and states. I do. And like I said, while it's hot, and it's hot right now, you know, everybody is watching anything as it relates to young Dolph. So they would love that, especially with people being fans of his and missing, him, to have his legacy to go forward and do a concert. People would come out in record numbers to represent, simply because it is for Dolph. Because it is his. It was his vision, you know. For those of you all that are just coming into the room, I am I'm dropping a link. Again, I think I just dropped a link. If you all would like to come up, I have people that be in here and they don't ever say anything, but I really appreciate them being in here. But if you would like to come up and introduce yourself, or if you have anything that you want to talk about as it relates to young Dolph, and you definitely can do that. You can definitely do that. I would really appreciate that. I guess my girl went to sleep on me tonight because she normally keeps it live when I get tired. Yeah. But I have been on here for 2 hours, you guys. If nobody else is going to, I'm going to go. Like I said, I got to go out on a case tomorrow. I think I'm going to get on tomorrow. I want to take you out on a journey with me as far as some of the you have a concern. Where is Daddy-O? I don't know. Daddy-O is, you know what? I'm here in the Mid-South area and in the Memphis area. And I've seen Daddy-O one time, and that is on YouTube on an old video that Dolph was on. I don't think he likes being, I think he's one of those ones that have always been in the background. It would be good to hear what he had to say because, Norfolk. Hey, Mike Ricks. Norfolk, Virginia, aka Shark City. All right, Mike. It would be good to hear what Daddy-O has to say. In order for him and Dolph to have been business partners, I'm sure they had to have had the same vision, because a house divided wouldn't have been able to last, right? So I'm sure they had to have had the same vision in order to have been business partners. So we would like to see, since he is one half of that, Dolph was more so the front man. And, he owned part owner and the front man. We would like to hear what Daddy-O has to say. Since Dolph is no longer here, what is his vision for the young men? What is his vision? Is he working with them? Yeah, it would be good to hear from him. I'm gonna see if I can get him to come up here. I'm sure he probably, I don't know. I don't want to say he wouldn't, because that's like killing it before I ever even get it started. But I wonder if he would be interested, because I do have a TV show here in the Mid-South area, and talking about his vision. Dolph is no longer here. What is Daddy-O's real name? Does anybody know? It would really be good to hear from him. Yeah. Does anybody know Daddy-O's real name? I everybody has said it, but I don't know it. I don't, cause see, I don't know if he lives in the Memphis area either. What is his real name? Is it Jamal? Is it Jamar? Is it Jamal? I don't know. I've heard people. I've heard people say Jamel. That's what it is, right? Jamil, or something like that. It's either Jamar or Jamel. Some people just like being in the background, and letting people assume. I don't know. I don't know if he's a relative of Kia Moore. I don't know. Moore is a very common last name. It is. It's a very common last name. So I don't know if they would be related or not. I really didn't even know who Kia Moore was until I heard people saying that I think people started talking about Kia Moore because they said she did a fundraiser, right? So I heard people. I tell you, I have to be honest. I have been tickled. I have been tickled pink like, looking at some of this commentary. I tell you, people are very creative. I think they said kill more. Um, people was mad at her because they said that. I think people have said that she had a connection to his murder, right? Because she didn't she do a fundraiser or something? They say she did. I forgot what it was she did, but they said she. I don't know. They said she did a fund. I believe it was a fundraiser. They say she did. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. I did glance at it. You know, some of the commentary and I'm gonna tell y'all some of these vloggers are hilarious too. I'm telling you, it's straight up entertainment on YouTube. For those of you that are just coming in, um, well, I saw her on the news talking to Memphis News that she stated the GoFundMe page for the family. Oh, she started the GoFundMe page for the family because she knew they would never ask her for help. She started a GoFundMe page for Dawes family. Was it for Dawes family? Because I don't know if Dawes family needed any help. Was it for Dawes family? Kind of fill me in. Does anybody know if it was Dawes family that Kia Moore started the GoFundMe for? Oh, for the cookie shop. I think okay for Raven. Okay. I think for the cookie shop, y'all want my opinion about the cookie. I think I've given my opinion about the cookie shop. I think for the cookie shop, I think in the beginning, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me, they was raising money because the cookie shop, they were saying that quite a few things was destroyed on the inside of the cookie shop, right? And also they had to close down and they had employees that had to be paid. Don't quote me, but I think that's what it was. And I think that's what it was. A lot of people was mad about that. I don't know though. I never saw any issues with it. If people wanted to donate, because I thought from my understanding they had intentions on trying to fix, that particular cookie shop, fix some things on the inside of that cookie shop and open it back up. And I guess that's what those donations would have been needed for. I didn't pay a whole lot of I didn't zone in on the cookie shop. That was my thing. I never did zone in on the people because when I would glance at the what people were saying, they was mad from what I could get. They was kind of mad about they were saying that Raven, and I think I did some commentary on this on one of my videos. They wanted them to show the video. Those people don't have that video. The feds took that video. They did. Like they could never show, even if they had copies of it. They could be That's interfering with an investigation to try and show a curious public. Like the investigators or the federal agents would never mess up an investigation to try and appease a a curious public, right? And so then they said that people were saying that her story had changed. You know, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a flake or nothing. So the only thing that I've ever said that concerned me, and it could have been because I was reading too deep into it. Um, it probably meant nothing because I mean, it probably nobody else would even thought anything about it. The news was referring to her as Dr. Moore. I naturally assumed she had a PhD, only to later learn she was a minister. Um, okay. So a lot of ministers have some kind of theological or theologian or something. They call them doctor. They have a doctorate in theology. They have a doctorate in theology or something, right? But but let me ask you something, Annie. Is it Annie or Annie? Are you sure that she don't have a PhD? And could it be possible that she has a PhD in because see I never did, like I said, I just never did, you know. But you have to understand too, if it leads back to anybody in there, I think, with the investigators and stuff, they're on the right trail, y'all. So whatever it leads back to, nobody would go, nobody would get by. That's what you have to understand. Nobody would get by. I just think that people are kind of, people want justice for Dolph, and they are afraid because it's not happening in it's not happening fast enough for them. They are afraid that people are getting by. I never zoned in on the cookie shop. I never thought that they had anything. Well, my thoughts were never that the owners had anything to do with it. I don't know who all worked in that cookie shop. I don't. I think I said that before. I never knew who all worked in there. I never said that nobody in the cookie shop was involved. I said I just never zoned. I don't know who worked there. I just said I never thought the family did. I pray that the law is on the right trail. Justice for Dolph. I think they're on the right trail. You see the arrest that they made, people was talking about straight drop. I kind of think sometimes now that people are kind of hard when it comes to the police. And I guess sometimes I can understand because of the distrust, because of some of the things that have happened with the law as far as what we've seen in the media. But I think that they are on the right trail. And sometimes things have to be perpetual. It has to be slow so that um, all the loose ends can be tied up. And like I said, I think when all of this stuff is over, they should name it. They should name it in the name of Dolph, because I think, with this thing happening with Dolph, a lot of cans of worms were opened up. This investigation should be called in the name of Dolph. If nothing else, long live Dolph, because that's why I say I think his spirit is still walking around here. You know, because it's got to be his spirit that there's going to be justice. And I think about Memphis and the state that we're in now. I think when all of this is over, even the streets going to be cleaned up. All of these little crimes that you're seeing, I think the streets are going to be cleaned up. And the good thing about it is, and all because of, because a lot of it has, because of investigators working overtime and working to stop situation, and they're, able to, um it kind of opened the door for other things as far as that's going to be better for Memphis and cleaning these streets up out here. So I think when all of this is over, Memphis is going to be a better, um it's not overnight too, because I always say faith without works is dead, right? We want the police to clean the streets up, but we don't really want to work with the police. And I know I may not be people's favorite, because they said, well, she worked for that police department all those years. She with them. I understand. I do. I understand the job that officers and investigators have and the pressure that they have on them. And you're talking about maybe out of 100%, 90% of officers are good people. They have to make it back home to their families. And we look to them to protect and serve, because if somebody breaks into our home, what are we doing? We calling 911, and we want officers to come there, to diffuse a situation. But we got to trust them. So, I know a lot of people are saying they're crooked cops, but, you know, even with them saying that a young lady from the TAC unit, I hollered when I heard that, was at the cash register. The TAC unit does not deal with, I don't, a lot of this stuff, I don't know where it comes from. The TAC unit would never, hello, love, the TAC unit would never deal with drug busts. They have organized crime, and they got vice and narcotic. There's a vice and narcotic for that. The TAC unit only deals with like hostage like situations. Now, if it's something really, really big and they need the help of the TAC unit, a lot of times, they might call over there, but they're not. The TAC unit is only trained to do what they're supposed to do as far as those hostage situations and stuff like that, terrorist threats and stuff like that. That's what they're trained for. Terror, not organized crime, not vice and narcotic. So, like I said, sometimes things are just it's slow, and it doesn't happen as fast as we want it to happen. But it doesn't mean that it's not happening. People, when the officers were saying before, well, people thought that they was not working Dolph's case, and they were saying, well, we don't have any leads or anything like that. Then bam, they already had Shondell, right? Not Shondell. They already had Cornelius, right? And a lot of people are saying, well, we were the ones that put them on. Nobody even knew that they had Cornelius, right? Nobody even knew that. And then they were saying, and then bam, they had Straight Drop. They had a warrant out for him. And then now it's going to be interesting to see how this thing turn out with Shondell. And it's going to be interesting to see the rest. Like, I think, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, this is only beginning. Like, that's why I was saying, getting back to I think they should seize this moment and do everything in the spirit of doubt, because this situation may not be over for a while. It may not be over for a while. Because even, hey, Miss Brittany Banks, how are you? But I do believe that justice will be served for Doll. I do believe it. And I think that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants for justice to be served for him. Sometimes it's just a slow process, When you see investigators putting things together fast, it's normally nothing concrete, and the people end up walking. But I think they're doing right when this situation, because so many people want justice for Doll. And I can, even right, even with Raven, people were saying that Raven, and I think I even saw it. She said they got to solve this case because it's election season. I understand what Raven was saying, because that's something that people say around the city all the time. So every Memphian here understood it, because I say it, when you see it's election season, and because of the sensation that the Dolph's case has brought, it really opened up a can of worms, and it's election season, and a lot of people in the city loved him. So they started looking at the politicians. They have really been on top of the politicians' heads. So I know exactly what she meant. I don't know if it was spent out of text, but everybody around Memphis say that. And so around the election time, because you have politicians trying to do things when election come up, they want to impress people so that they can be elected again. They start, even if you don't see them for 3 years. But with this Dolph situation, the citizens of Memphis started getting on. I mean, they started calling them out, started calling out these politicians, and they still been calling them out. So, yeah, they understood they had to do something. They had to do something, and not just because they can't go down there and mischarge anybody. They didn't just go and grab up any old body to try and solve a case either. Those folks say they got the right people, and I believe they got the right people. We don't know. I'm so ready for the feds to take over the case already. Yeah, the feds are already working in the case. I don't know if I think they're working together. I don't know if they're taking it over. It would be good, if they took it over, it would be good because, like I said, the federal agencies, and the only reason why I say that is because the federal agencies um, they have the intelligence to be able to, as far as like, when you're able to get pings and stuff, but they're working together with these cell phones and stuff. That's something that the federal agencies have the equipment and stuff to do, but they're working together. So I'm sure that they already have had access or already have that. I'm sure that was gotten pretty early on. Because I'll hear people say, well, what about the pings? Aren't they be able to get pings? Like, we don't know what all they have got. I'm sure that they got that stuff pretty early on. And folks was up on they was quiet for a very long time. We didn't even know that Cornelius was arrested, right? It was not even released. And they was very quiet about it. And that was strategic. They had Cornelius for about 30 days, over a month before we even knew they had him. So, when the chief marshal said the wheels of justice is turning, that man knew what he was talking about. He knew he knows what they're doing. He's not. The only thing the marshals do is go and hunt them down, but I'm sure they all have conversations because they have to bring the marshals in for certain things, to quietly get people for them, yeah. You all, I dropped the link. So I don't think, I don't think the public has, because everybody loves Dolph. People care about Dolph. They was fans of his. They love his music. I don't think y'all have anything to worry about as far as Dolph in that investigation. Them people got that, I do believe. And whatever happens, whatever the outcome is, I don't think they're going to leave any wheels unturned. I don't think they're going to leave any wheels unturned as far as that situation, because I know a lot of people are concerned. But as far as Raven, yeah, getting back to Raven, and her saying that, it's election season, she was saying that they was definitely going to be put in the pressure. I know what she was saying. They was going to be put in the pressure and making sure that the investigators was doing what they are supposed to do, which is probably because the local agencies, well, I don't know about every agency. I know when I was working over there, um, a lot of the investigators and the federal agents would clash. And it would be because I think it was ego, like I was saying, and oftentimes the feds are very secretive about what they do. And I think some of the investigators had issues. That was at that time. It may not be now. At that time, they had issues with them because they would go underground and investigate some things. And then when they got certain evidence, they wouldn't tell the investigators until after they had finished, right? And I think that was a problem oftentimes when they were supposedly co-working cases together like they are for Dow with this Dow situation. And so that's why I say, like, we don't know, like, that's just how they work. So I think Dolph is going to um his spirit is going to be able to be at peace when everything is over. I do. That's why I say the young men need to be working on a like a pre-tour. They don't understand they could sell out. They could definitely sell out. It's 26 people on here. Does anybody have anything? Yeah, R.I.P. Dolph. R.I.P. I hate that for Dolph. I really hate that for him because it didn't have to happen. I hate that. I feel like when people get into it, anybody, I'm just saying, young women, young men, if you can't fist fight it out, if you mad at somebody, if you can't fist fight it out, you might as well just drop the whole thing. But all of this killing, it's just crazy. Absolutely. They ruin these kids' lives because even as I said, even as it relates to Straight Drop, who's 23 years old, how can I be, how can I as a mother be happy that a 23-year-old man is charged with murder? I can't be happy about that. Cornelius is what, 32, 33. I'm not happy about that either because that's an African American man, probably got children. You know, I can't be happy about that. Babies, I'm telling you, they're 22, 23 years old. They are babies. So they are, even though they think that they are grown and age say that they are, these kids are constantly growing. They're not mature at all. People that are 33 don't do the things that people that are 23 do. You know what I mean? Like, I'll say this. When you're 23 and you're 33, even if whether you're mature or not, you think on a whole nother level. Like, you think on a different level. The 23-year-old you and the 33-year-old you are two completely different people oftentimes, unless it's something wrong with you. Yeah, it's a sad thing. It is. I've always stated that it is a sad thing. Like, it's just sad how misguided our young men are. And that's why I have maintained and been adamant about these men are going to have to get back into the homes or get back into the lives of their children. I've never understood how men could not have an issue with standing on the corner all day, but they can't go and spend time with their children, but you could just stand on a corner all day. So men are going to have to start back stepping up and being in the lives of their children, um, and letting it and raising their sons so that they won't be so influenced by people that don't mean them any good. You know, if we're going to change this generation. Women are, people talk about the women and they annihilate the women. I don't understand how a man that ain't doing nothing for his child could talk about a woman who's feeding, taking care of his children and doing it all on her own because he won't do it. How can you bring yourself to talk about a woman that is taking care of your children, because those are your children and you're not in their lives? Sad, we must ask the question, were they themselves taught how to be a man? That's true. Because a lot of these kids had parents that were on drugs. You're right. They have parents that was on drugs. So, you're right. So, y'all, like I said, if there's going to be a change in the Black community, it's going to have to start in the home first. It's going to have to start in the home first. Because, like I said, we look for it. I'm going to tell y'all something. I told y'all I saw a lot of stuff working at the police department. But like I said, sometimes, like, it's going to have to start at home. I never understood how parents who have children that live in their home, they taking care of them, and the kids are living there with them, and then they get mad. The police, they have a curfew, because at one time there was a curfew here in Memphis, and the parents get mad because the police ain't enforcing the curfew, and their sons and their daughters are out. They get mad at the police for not enforcing the curfew and making their children be in the house when they should be enforcing the curfew. They have a curfew for their house. They should be enforcing it because those are their children. And I think that's the problem. Some of these parents are scared of their own kids. They let their kids tell them what they gonna do and what they're not going to do. And then a lot of these parents, because y'all know I'm real, I've said this before, they don't have a problem. They know what their children are doing as far as a lot of this crime. They don't have a problem with it as long as they're benefiting from it. And mark my word, I'm telling y'all the truth. It is the God's truth. And then when they go burglarize somebody's house and somebody pop them, they didn't have to do Junebug like that. He always was a good person. He was a good son. But Junebug was burglarizing the whole neighborhood for 3-4 years now. You knew it because he was bringing you back the jewelry out of the house that the women had. He had all kinds of money, and he was selling the jewelry, even selling some of the jewelry, and a lot of the stuff that he got out them folks' house, because he brought it right back to the parents' homes and was selling it right out of the home. But because he was giving her a cut of it, she didn't ask him where he get this stuff from. Y'all, this is the stuff that's going on. So we can't put all the fault on the authorities. We have to fault a lot of these parents for not holding their children accountable. There is no accountability. There is no accountability. Like I said, I don't like I'm laid back and I'm quiet. But but I tells the truth now. And I don't like putting pacifiers in people's mouths. Like I say, if you 30, 40, 50 years old, you still need a pacifier. You mentally retarded. People got to accept the truth, but people don't want to accept the truth. Everybody loves their children. But it's unfortunate that some of this bad behavior is promoted by their own parents. And this stuff got to stop. It has to stop, y'all. It's got to start at home. Even when we send our kids to school, they go to school, but we can't expect the teachers to raise our kids. We get mad when little Rufus don't even know how to read and write. The teacher ain't teaching him nothing. I've never known, because even with my mama, even with me, with my children, when my kids went to school, yes, the teachers teach them to read, but it didn't stop when they left school. I made sure I worked with my kids. My mother made sure she worked with me. But people are not taking accountability for nothing. Not even their own children. The teacher didn't teach him to read. What you mean? Your son coming home and you don't know, you mad at you ain't making sure he's sitting down and you ain't reading with him for you to know that he can't read? A lot of folks don't even know their kids can't even read and write. They don't even know it. I didn't know it. The teacher didn't tell me. They don't even know it. They don't check their homework. They don't even know if they got homework. Don't care if they got homework. Like I said, you have parents who won't even go up to the school to check on their children. They won't go to PTA meetings. They won't do any of that. They won't do it. But now, if the teacher called and say, little Rufus ain't doing his, he acting a fool in class. He's not doing his homework. He's failing his test. She don't want to hear nothing the teacher got to say. I ain't gonna answer the phone. I'm gonna put her on block. She gonna put her on block. But let the child come home and tell a story. My teacher don't like me. She hit me. Telling the story. She up there with that green hair in her head, acting a fool and fighting with a gown on. This ain't nothing I'm making up. I've seen it. So a lot of this stuff has to happen at home, and there has to be some people always talking about rehabilitation. We have to make sure that they are habilitated. A lot of people are failing because we're talking about rehabilitation. It ain't nothing to rehabilitate. They was never even habilitated in the right way to begin with. That's the reason why they're failing out with rehabilitation program. They don't know. They was never taught anything to rehabilitate. We have to talk about habilitating a lot of these people in the right way. Y'all, and these folks know that. They make a fool. Okay. Y'all know how I am. We was talking about because I get to talking about a lot of this stuff. Y'all know I'm passionate. I get mad about stuff. Like I said, my dad, my father, and I'm not saying it because he's my dad. I'm saying it because it's the truth. And when people talk, my dad just retired. He decided he was not going to run anymore. He had a 20-year reign as a elected official. He retired last year. And when people see me now, people anywhere, I'm talking about in a community anywhere, because my dad also, was on TV and radio too. The older people talk about how even every Thanksgiving, my dad would have this soul food restaurant, this lady to open up, and he would pay her every Thanksgiving. He's done it every Thanksgiving for 20 years. For that same restaurant, he would have her to open up just for that day, because they was closed on that day, and feed everybody in the city of Memphis. Everybody. And you know what was alarming? Like he would put ads and stuff in on the radio and stuff, and he would say, because I'm telling you how selfish people can be. He would tell the preachers, make sure you put your seniors and stuff on the bus because they can come and get their Thanksgiving plate. He would do it actually the day before Thanksgiving. It was for everybody. But what you would see was the news media would be out there and stuff. But my dad was real blunt too. Now they didn't care for him because he just told it like it is, okay? And he couldn't be bought and paid for, okay? But what you would have was the restaurant would be feeding everybody in the city, and my dad would put an ad in, for them to bring, for all these churches and stuff to bring, especially the women and the elderly and the children. And for a lot of people who didn't have cars, you would think that the churches, especially the seniors, would have been bringing them over to the restaurant for them to get their Thanksgiving dinner the day before, right? And you would see a lot of pastors coming to the restaurant and get the food. They'd be sitting there eating the food, right? All on the TV. But they wouldn't even let you pay nobody to put the seniors on the bus and the children, a lot of them, so that they can come and get free food. They would come and fill their own belly up. That's why I say, y'all, we gotta black people don't we gotta hold people accountable. Okay, people got so my dad would say, "Where your members at?" He would call them out on stuff. So I'm surprised, but I have the same type of blunt personality as my dad. I'm not as brash as him. I'm quieter than my dad. But a lot of those people are ignorant. They really don't know. It's sad. That's true. That's true. They are. They're ignorant. They don't know. And so that's what they teach their children. A lot of people think it's funny for their kids to be cussing out folks. A lot of these teachers are scared shitless, excuse my French, of these kids, and they should be, because they are stone crazy. They're on something. And y'all, I keep saying this was engineered. It was engineered. That's so that we could keep killing each other. And the sad thing about it is, it's not like the blacks don't know, and we continue to do it because it only affects our communities. There is nothing magical about what they do in other communities. They just organize and stick together. That's what they do, y'all. There is nothing magical about it. We're not organized and we don't stick together. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of that crab in a barrel mentality. Um, it has our communities messed up completely. For anybody that wants to come up here, that's why I was mad in the beginning about what people was saying about the young men on pre, and they was trying to encourage them to. People wanted to try to encourage the young men to go and commit violence instead of trying to um, encourage them to go and carry on Dolph's legacy and make them proud. But a lot of men wanted to see them fail. They wanted them to go and commit violence. And like I said, it wouldn't be conducive for them to go out and retaliate on whoever they think did something to Dolph. Dolph case is hotter than a firecracker. Shoot, you could take your cigarette right now and light it with how hot his case is, and folks is all over that case. So you all, I just dropped the link. Also, if anybody would like to come up, you can definitely come up. No, there's no need to at all. You're right, Shantae. There's no need to at all. Trust me. Dolph is gonna get his justice. He is. And not only that, but there's also another justice too. Because even though they're working to get him his justice, God gonna make a lot of people reap what they sow. You have to pay for the things that you do. Can I ask about the missing guy, Steve Taylor or Tyler? Who is that? I've never heard of him. Steve Taylor. Would you like to come up here? Who is that? Is this affiliated with the? Yeah, it is a shame. Darnell Walker. It's a shame. That's right. Justice for Dolph. I like seeing those dolphins. I do. Who is Steve Taylor or Tyler? Like I said, it's something going on in this city, and it's very sick. Anytime a man can walk over to the Mississippi River and drop his 2-day-old baby in the Mississippi, drop her, put her in a bag, and you know the thing about it is, some people that was standing over there by the river said that they saw him. They saw him drop something, had a bag and drop something in the water, but they never would have known that it was the baby. Okay. I don't even want to talk because see, every time I think about that situation, how could you drop a 2-day-old baby in the Mississippi River? And people said she suffered. She was 2 days old. Even at 2 days, a baby's breathing is irregular because she was just born. I mean, oh, mm, she, okay. I don't like talking about that because when I tell you those officers was circling, they had their sirens on. They was constantly circling that river, areas around that river, because they was constantly getting a ping. Oh Lord, I hate thinking about that. They was getting a ping of the girl's phone, even though the phone was in the water. They was able to get a ping off of it, you know, and they knew wherever the phone was, that's supposedly where the baby was at. And so they kept circling the area around the water, which is the Mississippi River, constantly, you know. And I think now he's trying to say the baby not dead, but he dropped that baby. He put that baby in a bag and dropped it in the water. His own baby. Whew. I know it's sad to say, but I truly wish that some of the people down there would have known what he was doing and hurry up and and got the baby and kicked in and took their leg and kicked him in there, because that's actually what needed to happen. He really should have been the one in the water. All right, you guys. I have been on here for 3 hours. Yeah, almost going on 3 hours. I'm gonna get off, you guys, because I gotta go out on a case tomorrow. Like I said, it's the cold case down in Mississippi, and I gotta get some things together because my guys roll up on me. The good thing about it is, I guess, is I gotta go to one of those old. I gotta go to one of those backwood towns down there. But I told one of my partners, it's a good thing you'll. I was joking with him though. I was like, it's a good thing you're a white boy. You're a white color for us to go down there, because in them backwoods, what happened was this black guy was on his way to a funeral. Those officers pulled him over, and they had it on video. And no, you didn't. And I'm getting off at a good time. They had him on video, and when they actually pulled him over for the arrest, and they they tased him, and the man tried to, because they had the camera in the police car. They got out of sight, and they tried to say that the man ran away, but the man did. Now these are police officers, white officers that are very athletic, younger men in their 30s. This man was in his late 50s when they told the story on him. They said that he ran and they couldn't catch him. They didn't know that the black guy had gout. He was in his last stage of cancer, final stages of cancer, and he had asthma. There's no way in the world he could have physically outran those police officers. They killed that man. So the family hired me, and I got to go down there and I got to go down there and do what I need to do as far as getting some paperwork and stuff. So I gotta ride. We gotta ride down there in the morning at 8. I want you all to have, I really appreciate you all getting on my live. I have to say, it really means a lot to me that you all support me. I really appreciate that you stick on here with me. Even though a lot of you don't say anything, I still appreciate it. I want you all to be safe this weekend because the enemy is walking around on this earth and he is trying to devour whoever he may. So keep your prayer, keep your prayer life up. When I say that, I mean stay prayed up because the enemy is trying to penetrate whoever he can. If he can't get you, he going after your children. I.e., we see that with a lot of these young people are doing. But it's going to take prayer. We're gonna have to go back to the basics. It's gonna take fasting and praying to defeat this, okay? So that we can keep our energy up and be conscious about things and organizing. But I want you all to have a safe and happy weekend. I truly appreciate you getting on my live. I think I'll be able to get on tomorrow night if I'm not too tired after we come back from where we got to go. But I want y'all to have a good night.